Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. Face first.
Shit like that, shit like that, shit like that, shit like that, shit like that.
I know you can hear me now. We're gonna have to fix the microphone situation. I know you can hear me now. We are working out this new sound system thing. Do you hear the sound effects? Do you hear the sound effects? You dig? But can you hear me now? Loud? Oh, we good? Do you and you hear the sound effects? Just let me know. Cause if that's the case, then we riding. You know what I'm talking about? Lizzie in the building. Bleh. What's good with you? I seen you at Rolling Loud. You a MFN legend. You know what I'm talking about? You were a MFN legend, and you know, I was smiling from and my cheeks hurt for so much I was smiling seeing you out there. But shout out to Lizzie Jeff, shout out to your movement, shout out to the goddesses, shout out to real hip hop. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to real hip hop. That's all I gotta say. Shout out to God Hop. You dig? So you don't hear no sound effects? Don't worry about it. We working things out, as you can see. We working things out. I think that the audio on this will be a lot better than the sound effects. But tonight we have a monumental episode. We got the legend in the building. Our good brother King Simon is going to be joining us, and we are going to have a very, very, very intense conversation about mental health and numerology. This is the season, or rather, this is the month that we put to the side for the affairs of the heart. And then once we dealt with the heart, we want to deal with the mind and whatnot. So we dealt with the heart with Brick City Buddha, and we also had our sister Six the Goddess come through and whatnot. So now we're dealing with the mind, the mental state, and we know for all of us who live in this world and whatnot, you don't have to live in America, just living in this world, we know that there's a mental health crisis taking place right now as I speak. So, my good brother King Simon will be in the building in a very very, very soon. He will be pulling up and we're going to get to it and whatnot. But before we do all of that, you already know what it is. We got to do the roll call. I want to know who is in the building. You know what I'm talking about? I want to know who is in the building. You know what I'm talking about? You know, salute to everybody pulling up. We have the New York fam, you know what I mean, by way of Lafayette, Louisiana. Shout out to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lafayette. Shout out to Baton Rouge. Shout out to New Orleans. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Shout out to all of y'all in the building. Um, Shout out to Maryland. Shout out to Mississippi in the building. Shout out to, yeah, what's up, Mississippi? You know what I'm talking about? Pennsylvania. All right. Florida, or what they call the land of flowers. Salute to y'all. Mm-hmm. Seattle in the building. Yes, indeed. Seattle, where the weed is greener. Shout out to y'all. Bridgeport. I was gonna crack a joke on Bridgeport, but nah. My grandfather used to live out there. Yeah, we got love for Bridgeport. Shout out to Bridgeport, but lock your doors, y'all. Lock your doors. Rome, Georgia in the building. Rome, Georgia. Salute to Rome, Georgia. Salute to the gods in Rome, Georgia. You know what I'm talking about? Um, Give me 1 minute. Let me change this mic up. Let me change the audio up real quick. I'm an audio type of person. I need my audio. All right, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Do, 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 do. Okay, all right. We good on the audio. Let's go. Norfolk, Virginia in the building. Yes, yes, yes. Jersey in the building. Shout out to Jersey in the building. All right. Okay. And we have St. Louis in the building. We got East Flatbush, Bay Area, Detroit, ATL, Toronto, T-Dot. And of course, we got the West Side. You know what I'm talking about? LA in the building. Chesapeake. Is that Virginia? Shout out to Chesapeake in the building. You dig? Salute to everybody. Best die all day. Best die, do or die. You know what I'm talking about? Colorado and all of that. Yeah, yeah. Monroe, Louisiana, and Arizona. Uh-huh. Yeah, I just be everywhere. I see that. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all are some road warriors and whatnot. Salute to Texas. I read a report that said that Houston and Dallas is clocking in at the most there's an exodus going into Texas right now, and there's a mass exodus leaving New York. New York is losing, they're hemorrhaging, losing numbers by the day. And I would say that crime plays a part, but definitely the cost of living is one of the main factors as to the reason why people are abandoning that once beautiful city, New York, Gotham City and whatnot. So salute to everybody that's still out there maintaining and making it happen and whatnot. You know, that's you know, that's home base and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Home base. We will never turn our backs on the home base, but there needs to be something done about that goddamn rent. Okay. Because I'm not really into paying all, because that rent is going right to is it real? A lot of that rent is going right over there to that apartheid regime and whatnot. So I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big, you know, I don't support that. I'm one of those people. If I lived in New York, I wouldn't be playing. I would just be thugging it. I wouldn't even be doing the rent thing. You would just have to come and see me. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But anyway, Las Vegas in the building, Jamaica, Queens in the building, Gotham City in the building. Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to Texas, though. I've said it before that Texas, I remember calling that out a few years ago. I'm like, yo, Texas is humongous. And Texas is not a real place. Like Texas, Houston to be exact. When I went out there, Houston, it's a different type of vibe. It's a different type of vibe, y'all. So shout out to everybody that's out there living their best life. My good brother Talik, who has his vegan spot right there in the Third Ward and whatnot, Soul Food Vegan. Shout out to Pop Darby, AJ McQueen, Brick City Buddha, and his beautiful wife. They out there and whatnot. So yes, shout out to Pink Pill. My daughter's out there in Texas holding it down with Beyonce and whatnot. But yeah, that's what's up. So I'm not gonna hold y'all. I said that we have a monumental guest in the building. He's in the back office right now. So I want to go ahead and bring the God through so we could get this conversation going. Okay. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring forward KTL alumni, New York's very own promoter extraordinaire. This man single-handedly for a large portion of the time that we were out in New York. I would say for about 7 to 8 years, this man carried the lecture community on his shoulders and put out classic after classic after classic after classic. And he's not finished, okay? He's not finished. He's only getting started. So King Simon now is in the ATL, and he's bringing his show to the ATL. So we have some very good news that we're going to talk about tonight about his next upcoming lecture and the legend that he's going to be bringing through to the ATL. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Jamaicans, I need y'all to get up. You know what I'm talking about? I need y'all to get up right now. You know what I'm talking about? I need y'all to light your spliffs and whatnot. And yeah, put some Bob Marley on, because we bringing through Jamaica's very own
King Simon in a building. Where's the air horns? Yeah, all of that. You know what I'm saying? All of that Eastern Parkway shit. Got the Morridge. That's right. You got the Ventures. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You, that look good on you too. That look good on you. Don't leave that shit around me. You know what I'm talking about? I'm out here recollecting my classics. I be in people's closet like, yo, that's mine. That's mine. That's King County. Yeah. You feel me? I'm bringing boosting back. I'm out here boosting my old items and shit so I can preserve them. Yes. I can't complain. I'm grateful and thankful. You know, I woke up and everybody who I love woke up with me. So there's really nothing to complain about, bro. You know what I'm saying? We here. You know, we here. You feeling? Right. Right. The formative years. Yeah, rising power to him. I was just looking at a picture of him the other day, reminiscing on that his energy. As a auntie, right? That's your- Right, 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 right. Yes. Condolences to you and your family, King Simon. You already know what it is, man. You know, we definitely host a place in our heart for you, man. And whatever we can do to help with anything, just let us know. You dig? For sure, for sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. You feel me? There you go. You gotta be double blocked up. This radiation coming off of these screens is it's been I think they leveled it up a little bit, a few notches. Cause that blue light poisoning is for real, for real. Yes. Man, KT, my brother KT, the arts degree was he was he was on yeah, KT, the arts degree went on, he went viral and whatnot. I think it's Rich and Unemployed is the podcast, the good brother Finesse, right? And KT spoke about urine therapy, and they was killing them in the comments. They was going ham. But it was like I commend the good brother because everybody, you know, some people are intimidated to even speak about urine therapy and the benefits of it. There's, you know, that it's because of Western science and the stigmata this attributed to urine and whatnot that people are like, wait, what? But low key, yeah, Dr. Sabi, that's what he definitely promoted that. My grandfather, who served in the World War, he talked to us about urine therapy as well. He was
Right.
in World War II.
That's right. That's
He
right.
was like, yeah, they was in the trenches in the foxholes and whatnot, utilizing that type of therapy.
Yep.
Not something that I look forward to. However, I understand the healing modalities to body fluids. That if you do a little bit of research, you would understand what it is that we're referring to.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because yes, my father was in the Marines and they had to deal with that back in the Vietnam War times. And due to Dr. Sebi himself, I went and bought the books on urotherapy and all that and tried it myself. But you do definitely have to cleanse yourself. You definitely have to cleanse. You have to do a full fast, like he said, a full body fast. But if you're in the midst of war, you gotta do what you gotta do, to tell you the truth, and you gotta know how to filter that stuff up. That's what Aton was showing us back in the day. You remember Aton Edwards and all that. He was telling us the importance of that and extracting certain waters out of certain plants and how to do it. And so, those are the type of things we had to learn on, even in the nation, because even the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, told us about having those kits and those emergency kits. And you got to have the right mindset for that. There's a mindset for that we have to have when it comes to doing that. And if your mind ain't right, if your mind ain't on a certain level, and also teaching your children how to have that mindset, because you still have to have comfort food. You still have to have comfort music if you're going through an escape or an exodus, definitely because of some type of abruption of some way, some type of civil unrest. You got to know how to make certain moves. And I broke down a whole thing on numerology and how people can deal with disasters and all that. It's on my YouTube channel, King Simon Presents. And, big up to all of those people that are locked in and tuned into my channel every now and then. But yeah, man, I broke down the whole thing about that. So it's very important. And it deals with mental health also. Because you remember that movie, I Am Legend, with Will Smith?
I Am Legend. Yes.
Remember the mindset that he had to be in to be able to deal with the mannequins and talk to the mannequins in the store. And then he knew Shrek by heart because he had to keep his mind at a certain level because he was the only one on. Apparently, he felt that he was the only one that understood what was going on in that realm of New York, what they designed as New York. So when Ralph was moved, and then moved by that troglodyte, that was deep for him. So he said, "Yo, Ralph, Fred." No, he called him Fred. He said, "Fred." He said, "Fred." Right. Yo, Fred, what are you doing here, Fred? What are you doing? Because it messed up his psyche. Because he knew the man. Right. He knew it was a mannequin. He knew what it was.
Right. There's so many things that you just brought up that I want to touch on.
Yes,
it's the three-prong approach. One, I want to commend you for your foresight that you had many, many moons ago, because you were dealing with prepping, right? I don't like to call it doomsday prepping.
Right.
You were dealing with preparation.
Yes, sir.
You were dealing with bug out, what they call that, the bug out packs.
That's our bug out bags, right?
Bug out bags and whatnot. You were showing people how to forage.
Yeah.
You were doing tours in New York where you were taking people through escape routes and whatnot.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago, right? And then two, when you brought up I Am Legend and you brought up Will Smith and his mental state, right?
Yes.
It harkens to me to think about Gotham City, the way that New York is right now. And there are people walking around feeling like Will Smith in the I Am Legend scenario, because they may feel like on the IRT, you got people riding the trains and they may feel like they're the only sane person in that whole car and whatnot.
Right.
Or you got people walking through Harlem and Brooklyn and places like that with all of the madness, the mental health crisis, the meltdown that's taking place in New York. They called it an open air asylum. Okay. New York has turned into a open air asylum because of the failure of many systems.
Right.
The most important system was the mental health institution that they basically was broken during the C-19 crisis and whatnot, and then all of those patients spilled out into the city. So you know,
that was a lot going on, man, and a lot of people escaped from mental health facilities. A lot of people did that.
Henceforth, there's an exodus. There's a report that came out today about the mass exodus that took place in New York, that continues to take place in New York, where they're losing boatloads of people. Florida is gaining them.
Yeah.
Texas is gaining them. And Atlanta received 60,000 people
Oh.
in the last 3 years. Yeah, you was one of them.
Yes, me and Rich and all of us. Yes.
Which part of the cavalry
We part of
that came and invaded this land and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
But that goes back
Came
to
and
it goes back to the movie Escape from New York. It goes back to what
Snake Plissken.
yes,
Snake
exactly.
Plissken.
Snake
That was one of my favorites.
One of my favorite movies.
Feel me?
One of my favorite.
He had to get the F up out of there. And you know, it's literally that's what it's come down to. You know what I mean? So
and you know, Isaac Hayes was in the first one back in the day. People don't really realize and remember Isaac Hayes was one of the dudes in there. You know, he was one of the black gangs. He controlled the gang.
Black gang dudes, right.
Was there. Yeah. Black Moses was in the building. I love this Black Moses, man. I met him a few times back when the world.
Did you meet his son?
No, I haven't met his son. I heard he's a beast at what he does, man. The third, I haven't met him.
Yeah,
yet.
I could get that. I could try to get you linked up with the son. The son is making moves.
Yeah, he's doing things. I think I joined his platform. He had one of those platforms.
I did too.
Yeah.
Fan base.
Yeah, fan base.
Too.
I joined his platform. So yeah.
Right.
Congratulations to whatever he's doing, man. And he's taking his father's information and stuff to another level from his perspective. Because his father definitely taught. He got 1, 2, and 3, right? He got Isaac Hayes 1, 2, and 3, I think. Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, yo. He's like George Foreman, man. George Foreman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You feel me? He's just knocking them out. You know what I'm saying? I have a question in the audience real quick. I don't want to overlook our audience. We have Misha with a question. She says, what if I need a toxic balance to my conservative side for my mental health? Am I sick or bored? So she's like, she wants to balance that a little bit of toxicity with her conservative side. She might be a little, she's too bored, she's saying. She gotta, you know, she want to spice it up. Well, she want a little bit of sexy red in her life.
And it's all right to bring balance. Not something that's going to be detrimental to your health and your body as far as things. But I listen to some ratchet music when I want to. Sometimes I got to listen to balance things off. I don't listen to it for too long because remember, I come from a reggae dancehall world. So if I decide to tune into a Vibes Cartel when him and Spice was doing their thing, or a Mad Cobra back in the day when they was doing their thing, all the Shabba and them songs were sex songs and all that kind. And then I would listen to some of DJ Khaled's music or 50 Cent's music. Sometimes my workout music is all of that. My workout is I could work out to that. And I know balance it out. So whatever you're gonna do with the toxic, because remember, Dr. Laila Africa used to say, "Do your best, King. Just do your best," because this world is full of toxicity. The world is full, and the mind is a transmitter and a receiver of it. So sometimes you could be sitting by yourself, you could be in a lotus position, and then all of a sudden, music, sexy red music might come through your head. Everything might come while you meditating. It happens.
Not just the music, but the thoughts.
The thoughts.
And you realize that those thoughts are not your own.
Exactly.
So when you just be like, oh, it's a passing, it's almost like how the air is basically passing through me. These thoughts are not my own. Where did they come from?
Exactly.
Right? And why are they attracted to me so much? Why are these thoughts that are not mine always visiting me?
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly. And that's
why don't some money visit me the way these thoughts are
and more
I want some deposits to visit me, man.
But more than likely, those thoughts can create those frequencies for you to get money, but you got to know how to flip it. You got to know how to flip it. That's why Dr. Valentine
alchemize.
Yeah, alchemy. You got to practice the alchemy. That's why Phil was so important. Dr. Philip Valentine was so important to us because he was trying to show us through mastery, through metaphysics back in the day. And
no, he's still doing that.
He's still doing it. Yeah, I'm there. But I'm saying,
when he comes on, right? When you see him hop on Black Magic, and when he gets on Uncle Hanky's platform, and when you're interviewing him, we know him. We've been impacted by the teachings, but just imagine the persons whose first time hearing Dr. Phil Valentine. What is that doing to their minds and whatnot? And then they get the opportunity to go down this rabbit hole And once they get into that rabbit hole, there's untold accounts of awakening that take place. Once that happens, it's out of our hands, because what do we know?
Exactly.
You know, what do we know that's going to resonate with them at that moment that they needed to hear that a Dr. Valentine or a Dr. Seuss is saying? And I only say that to say that you don't know where you're going to get that eureka moment.
Yeah.
You don't know where you're going to get that voice of reason. You don't know where you're going to get that enlightening.
Yes,
It comes from many different places. Like you were mentioning earlier about what you listen, the music that you listen to and whatnot.
Yeah.
I concur, because, you know, I'm very well balanced when it comes to my appetite and whatnot. I listen to some spicy material. I listen to music that's gonna charge up my root chakra.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But I also am attracted to music that's speaking to my higher chakras and whatnot.
Exactly.
So it's really about the mood that you're in at the moment, or the mood that you want to put yourself in. Because like you said, if I go to the gym, I'm not necessarily gonna go through the best of Beethoven at that moment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I gotta put myself into a mood. So I might charge up on some Holy Ghost 3, some Cambada, you know what I mean?
Right.
I might go through the Red Pill playlist. You know, I might just want to do something that's gonna get me piped up.
Right.
So
right.
Nothing, I don't see any wrong in that.
Because
what I
go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, because when I was zealous into like Islam, I tried to eliminate all of that, but it was hard, especially if you're working on the street, because as an Ansarullah Muslim back in the 80s, we had to go out there and propagate. We was on 42nd Street propagate. We was on 35th. We was out there in front of the strip, you know, the strip. That was the strip back in the day. You know, back in the 80s. I remember that. You know, so
42nd Street was the open air, everything.
Exactly. The peep show.
Drug market, sex market.
The peep.
People get robbed out there.
It's Disneyland now. It's Disney World.
Right.
That's what it is now. But back in the day, if you walk up towards 8th and 9th, that's the rough riding area, man. That's they back there doing their thing, and we over there with the movies and the peep shows. We dealt with the peep shows back in the, and we dealt with every form of prostitution and trying to teach them in all white.
Right.
That was psychological, bro.
Jalabeans and all of that.
We had our jalabeans on. Yeah,
that's right.
And we was lined up, or sometimes we walking through my cousins. A lot of my cousins joined the community back in the day, so we was always together and watching our back. Even making prayer, we had to make salat in those areas and watch out.
For everybody listening, the Ansar Allah community is what the Nuwaubians became. It precedes the Nuwaubians.
That's right.
This is when Dr. York and them were doing Ansar Allah. They were wearing all white, and they were propagating the teachings of Malachi Z. York and the pamphlets
of Islam.
I was selling a whole lot of Muslim oil and incense.
Yeah, it was all Islam. All Islam. I mean, and other Muslims was jealous of us because of how he had the community running. You know, I think Islam kept Dr. York in check before he went into whatever he went into, because he went into a bunch of things after that. But Islam kind of kept them in check until, what they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's all that I can say. You know, because while I was there, I never experienced under the stuff that they was talking about after in the 90s, because I was there only till 88. I left and became a reggae star after recording at Dr. York's studio back in the day. So I knew he was singing and going to colleges and high school. And he even wanted my group to open up for him, but there was some type of power struggles that my reggae group couldn't be there to do it because of the finance and the budget. Because he named my reggae group called Pazion back in 1985, 86. And he wanted me to come and he wanted me to come and open up for them, because he seen that reggae was making that. You know, and I had ask Chunky Fresh from Force MDs. He'll tell you, Khalil, he'll tell you everything about when I was there, and Morpheus, of course, people like Morpheus, those people that know me from back in the day doing my singing. So, you know,
I remember I was younger, of course. I was in Caribbean Dome, Tilden, Biltmore, Starlight.
Caribbean City,
Caribbean Dome, Caribbean City, Temptation, Starlight.
Yes,
all of these, you know, It was bigger than life when I was young.
Yes, it
But then
was.
I remember going into one of them places and it was like an event space, and I was like, "What the?" This was the shit that I was. This was like Disneyland to me when I was young.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing your music, your dub plates and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, back in the
You
day.
was in the mix.
Yes, I was. I was.
It was a very, very interesting time
Yeah.
of my mature, of my childhood, growing up, my teenager years, my young adult years.
Yeah.
And dance hall music had a profound impact on my worldview,
Yeah.
on my culture, my culturation. You know what I mean? I mixed that in with hip hop. You feel me? And it was a full meal for me. It was a big plate.
That's right.
And I would never ever give that up.
Last night who I had Whirler Girls on with me last night.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Lord God, the man had Whirler Girls.
They back again. So they said after having all those children and they're grown now, it's time for them to come back. I'm like, yo, y'all encouraging me. Cause I seen them I was watching their release party, single release party in New York. Screechy Don came. I think Red Fox came. A lot of the old people that I grew up with, all we needed was Shaggy there. That's all we needed was Shaggy and Shabba, the people that I grew up with doing the music back in the day. Shabba, yeah, people, yes.
Shabba, the aunties is back outside, right? The aunties is back outside, so it's only right. Nah, that ass. The grandmas are glamas right now. 40 is the new 25.
They bugging out
so there. If you don't look the age, you might as well go ahead and give it another run.
That's right. And
they
looking good. I gotta admit, they looking
because
really good.
They serve a demographics that are like, they still with it. They still want to shake a leg.
That's right.
And they want their classics. You know what I mean? They want nostalgia is big and whatnot, and they want a familiar sound that they're used to. So why not?
Exactly.
Why not?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Shout out to all of the aunties outside. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey,
we got you.
They partying with their daughters, man. They there.
That's right.
With their daughters. Pick it up. And some of them looking better than their daughters.
Some of them looking better than them daughter them. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, that's a whole nother conversation. You feel me?
Yo, but some of the music from back, I could walk into a club right now and realize that they go back to 90s all the time or early 2000s with the music, hip hop, reggae, all of that. There's something about that era that really brought out a lot of good music and a lot of good hip hop, good reggae, and all that kind of stuff. But we were playing all of that in Temptation, R&B.
These 90 babies, right? These post Y2K chillins, they be acting like, oh, you old and what? I'm like, fam, what do you know you was born during a Jodeci marathon?
Word.
Do you know that you was born when a nigga he brought the 411 Mary J first CD to his girl house? Do you know you was conceived off of that CD, my nigga, off of track 2?
That's right.
Like so I'm just saying these vibrations resonate with the newer generation.
Right.
That's why there's a video that I saw where there was a whole auditorium of like 10-year-olds singing Keisha Cole like she was married.
Wow.
But when I think about it, I'm like, that's the song that they heard their mamas playing.
Exactly.
Right? Because they were probably conceived off of some damn Keisha Cole.
Exactly.
You feel me?
Exactly.
So they're discovering, it's almost like when we were discovering soul music and Aretha and all of this stuff, we was like, I remember being a little jit and that's all we heard on Saturday morning while we was cleaning up the house and whatnot. We fell in love with it.
That's right.
Because we gonna love what our parents love.
Exactly.
You feel me?
Exactly.
So the children of today, their mamas is Keisha Cole babies, Mary J babies, SWV and whatnot. So these legacy artists have a whole new run. Yeah, Jodeci, Casey, and JoJo, they got a whole new run. They're singing to the babies, like you said, and they mamas now.
Right.
Type shit in the audience.
Exactly. And a family, let me tell you. And getting back to mental health, the World Health Organization said there is no health without mental health. So everything that you take in I wrote on the top of this board, it says, we are the sum total of all of our experiences. We are the sum total of everything that we've experienced, both good and bad, not just the memorable ones, not just the enjoyable ones, both good or bad. The music that we use, the culture, because remember, when we get into the music, it's a ritual that we do when we're in the club. We're having a good time, we're throwing our hands up.
Ceremony.
It's a culture, it's all ceremony, yes.
Right.
So, and all of that kept our minds right too. So when they started to try to eliminate the nightclubs, with the Giuliani's and
Giuliani
and what's the next one that came after what's his face Bloomberg and all
Bloomberg.
that about the quality of life thing, you know. I remember stepping to Jumaane Williams about him being a part of that, trying to remove certain nightclubs. That's what got CPAC shut down.
That's the congressman, right?
The congressman who I knew, who used to party with us. It's the same dude that used to give out flyers and party with us back in the day.
And now he a politician, right? Like Eric Adams, your
man. Eric Adams, yep.
Your man's in them.
Not my man.
That's your man. That's your man. Don't do that.
I just know him from across the street with his girlfriend that he used to live across the street with back in the day. That's all I know, Eric. But he used to have, after the borough president, Marky Markowitz, he took over. He
took over from Marty. I remember that.
So, you know, but everybody is discontented with him, man. I talk to everybody in New York right now. They tell me, man, I don't know what Eric. They'll say the same thing you said, yo, man. I said, like, I sit down with this dude and eat lunch. I don't know this dude like that. We know each other in passing. He know my name. He know me because I was a promoter. I was heavy out them streets. So he know my name. And plus, he worked with Queen Afua before. You know, because that's why
if he was winning, that'd be your man. No, stop that, man. If he was winning, if his approval rates was up, you'd be like, yeah, my man Eric Adams and shit. I know him, right?
I never liked politicians. I never liked politicians, man. So I don't know. I'm not one of those people. So, you know,
like I went to the Georgia State Capitol. We were advocating for the weed, the legal, you know, this whole legislation behind legalizing the plant, right?
Right.
So I might have spent about 3 hours in the Capitol and whatnot. And you know, I was formally dressed and whatnot. So people were kind of coming up to me having conversations as if I was a politician.
Yep.
Right. And I kind of like the way that felt. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I wound up leaving there and I was talking to my business partner. And I'm like, shit, I think I might have to give this a roll of the dice before I check out, because you could do it. The way that, you know, I see how that shit works. It's very personality driven.
Exactly.
However, my fear or my aversion would be the same thing that you saying, that once you get into that world, that world can you might think that you could go in and change that world. But you might want to fuck around and realize what you just signed up for, because politics is not what it looks like on the outside.
That's right.
Once you get inside that thing, then it's a whole nother beast and whatnot. So it's cute and everything, but nah, I might play a role of a politician in like film or something, but I don't know if I'm going to go to full. I would rather be political within my own party, governing my own mental body politics and whatnot, you know, hanging out around those areas to pick up some points and apply it to something more, I would call, because I feel, me personally, we could do more on the ground collectively than we can bureaucratically.
Right, exactly.
We could affect the ground so much. We could shake the ground and force the bureaucrats to be, because once again, being inside of that place, I see how it works. They respond to power.
Yep, that's right.
Some of the politicians or the people in there, they saw how many followers I had, and they start squaring up like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, y'all number whores.
Exactly, grassroots, exactly. But you remember Dance Tracks, that television show back in the day?
I remember dance tracks.
See,
Yes.
you see Tony Toon. Tony Toon is now a politician. Tony Hibbert.
Mhm.
He's a politician,
Yeah.
but he stays as like an alderman. He stays on the lower level to affect what's going on through the ground roots,
Through the
keeping,
communities.
keeping the grassroots and deal with that. So he didn't excel to that higher point, and I don't think he wants to do, because he's also a Mason. He's also a traveling man, and he understands how to negotiate and deal with it. And he can still help you from that level. He can help different people from that level, and he's still doing it. So even if you stayed grassroots, being born under that 14 energy, man, you could adapt and overcome and become anything you want to become. That's one thing about the number 5 energy. They can become whatever they want to become. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna get in them numbers in a few minutes. I got a question in the chat. It said Dick Gregory ran for president before.
Yes, he
Would
did.
you say that did a lot for his confidence and trajectory afterwards?
Well, Dick, remember, Dick had confidence already. He was running track and he was a superstar and running and all that, and comedy. He was already in front of it. But that helped to let people know, just like when Shirley Chisholm. That's why I can't wait to see what Regina King does with that Shirley Chisholm thing. I want to see that, because Shirley Chisholm was a big part of my growing up or hearing about when I was younger. And Dick Gregory was also a part of that whole thing also growing up. So when you start seeing Black faces or melanated faces on there, of course it helped his esteem. Of course it helped his career also. It did help. And he got a lot of votes. People don't really know. I got the DVD. I got the cassette, Dick for President. I got that cassette.
No, pause. I got you, bro.
But that's what it was called. That was
I know.
Pause.
Were you and Mr. Gregory? Did y'all do work together?
What? Who, me?
Yeah.
Remember, we brought him into town at Brooklyn. We brought him to that spot, that Muslim place, that community. And every time he came in town, I did security for him at UAM with Austin Maddox. So he was always there. I always made sure for free I stand security for those babas, those elders. I just go right there and become park post. People might not know I'm just there, but the owner or the producer knows me, and I know them, and I know the police that's in there. I know, Michael Graves and all them guys, the 100 men in law enforcement.
The 100 black law enforcement. I miss Baba. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I do.
We had some classic episodes with him on Know the Ledge Radio.
Show. Yep.
The state of the Black America 2012 and 13 and
you and Brother Rich, all of y'all had it, man. Y'all had it going on with them, man. And I love that about y'all, man. Y'all kept it going. Remember, I brought Dick Gregory in first, and then we brought in Paul Mooney after the next year after. That's right, at CPAC.
I remember. I don't want to embarrass nobody, but my G, man, I was my Paul Mooney don't know, B. Yeah. I was trying to make him my stepdad, B. I was in his corner I was campaigning for that man.
Yeah, man. Good.
He was trying to get at Mama Pill. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? I remember him. That's your mama
with the big afro. He loved your mama, bro.
Yeah, he was infatuated with Mama Pill.
Yep.
So I'm talking to I'm at the veggie spot with her, like, you know what I'm saying? We be picking out plums and shit. I'm like, what you think about Paul? She's like, man, if you don't leave me alone about that man, you don't know. She was like, you don't know nothing about that man. Trying to talk. I was like, what about him? But she never told me.
And you know, twins is runs in his bloodline too. He has twin sons too.
So. Oh yeah. Daryl.
And Dwayne.
My guys, man. Dwayne. Yeah, they ran through Know the Ledge too. Yep. Back in the days.
Young people's, man. I had them on my show, man.
Mooney twins.
Man.
Funny brothers too.
Very good brothers. They born May 22nd. Paul Mooney born August 4th. So yeah, big up to those brothers, man. Big up to the twins.
Yeah, that was my guy right there. He used to come through Harlem and curse all of us out. When we'd be out there with Sarnetta, and they be trying to stop him for an interview, he would call, so he would throw everybody under the bus. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
But then he saw my mama, that nigga stopped, and he was like, "Hold on, wait a minute, sister." He was showing his teeth. You know what I mean? I seen all his cavities.
Paul used to walk near the Apollo, and my cousin used to be out there. Duma, you remember Duma?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he used to be out there. He would stop by Duma's table, talk to him brief, and then keep it moving because people start gathering. That's why Paul He's like, he had his cane at that time. He was moving with his cane. He had to move in and out.
Right.
He's like, you know, and of
Right.
course, Phyllis Yvonne Stickney we'd run into, and all the greats out there. I mean, we ran into a lot of people. Michael Coyer passed by Sarnetta one time. You remember that time when Michael Coyer passed?
Michael Coyer, yeah. Yo, there used to be a movie out there, bro.
Word.
There
Always
used to be a whole movie out there,
Loved
man.
it, man. I loved it, man. But you know,
Sometimes I wish I could go back.
yeah, I know. It's
And
definitely.
then I wake up and be like, nah, I'm
Somebody
What we
said
doing?
Paul was trying to get the mama pill. Yes,
You're trying to, yeah, Paul was trying to get at her.
you got to remember,
You feel me?
Mama Pill represented that era that he came from, the Afro, the big Afro. You know, so that is
Right.
what he pulled. You know, the Tamara
Right,
Dobson and
that
the
pulled them in.
yeah,
Right.
pulled
He
them
was
in,
like
man.
Pam Grier and
All of that.
I don't see sisters with this and the funny thing about that too, just to show you how culture, how impactful Mama Pill was in terms of what she was doing. Sisters started rocking the afros everywhere after that. Because I remember her wearing the afro and it was such an anomaly. They've been wanting to touch her hair and people wanted to take pictures. And then after that, it was the younger sisters, right? The goddesses. When they started doing the big chops and everything, and I started going to like the curl fest and stuff like that. And I'm going to like the hair shows and I'm seeing sisters with afros. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Afro wigs, all of that.
You feel me? Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? I thought my mama was the only one rocking the fro. My dad too.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, they brought it back, and the sisters brought back the natural, that braids, the Bo Derricks. They didn't have that.
Nope.
When we was on 125th Street like that.
Exactly. And you know, you gotta respect your mom for keeping it up, and you gotta respect your father, your father for keeping it up, and all those that and the KT now keeping it up. And you know, back in the day, I remember seeing your mother at the UAM. Always one admiring this beautiful tall woman coming with this big afro, and then see her with Brendan Brunson Bay, modeling.
Brenda Brunson Bay, yeah, modeling her.
Yeah, that's my sister, man. That's my people from back in that. You know, she gave me some good information. Her and Simply Greta, and all of those.
Simply Greta, yeah.
She lives out here now. She lives out here now. You know, she lives out here.
Oh. She do?
Yeah, I gotta go out. She wants to write a book, so I'm gonna help hook her up and get her to write a book. So she wants to do that. So
they were doing. My mama brought me to Brownstone.
Yeah, Brownstone.
There was a store called Brownstone by the National Black Theater
across the street.
Back in the days, like 06, she brought me there, and I was blown away by, you know, just the fabrics and you know, the detail. It reminded me of Moshood over there in Brooklyn. So it's like those very expensive pieces that were very tailored and elaborate. And it was like, wow, you know, the motherfucking 3-piece mudcloth suits and everything. Like, you know,
that's right.
And we look at it now, it's normalized, it's become part of the culture. But I'm talking about a time where people was wearing rockaware, baggy jeans, like dressing cultural was an anomaly at that point. It was not the move. Nobody was doing that.
That's right.
So we've come a very, very long. We moving so fast that it's really hard for us to see it. Henceforth, why I've been rallying around the idea of a documentary. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the background beating the drums to that very heavy. And I'm just gonna have to take it up in my own hands and do it because, you know, I don't think they see the importance of it, and they think that time is on their side.
Right.
You don't realize they don't realize what these times are.
And maybe you should get Mr. G to help you, man, because Mr. G can do that. You know, that's the type of documentary that he I remember he was willing to film a Dr. Africa
after the Sabi shit drop. After the Sabi shit drop, then we can talk about, because we done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
He told me
that's
he had wanted to do Dr. Africa, and his wife said, nah, she ain't giving nobody his thing. I said, all right. I mean, you know, this is just about exposing his life, because we know Dr. Africa got shot at a young age back in the day, was pronounced dead when he was like 11, 12 years of age. A lot of people don't know that history. You know what I'm saying?
You would make me cry on this show. That's another Baba that I missed.
Man,
dearly.
he loved y'all, man. He loved the twins, man. We always talk about you.
Yo, you know, he flamed me up on my first show. I'm talking about he fried me like fricassee.
You know, Doc.
It was it was like, you know, doc, it's the same way if somebody come across Dr. Sebi. See,
Yep.
people be thinking that Dr. Sebi was like a dude who was just eating vegetables outside, moon gazing and grounding himself and whatnot.
Nah.
And y'all don't know, Dr. Sebi was flaming niggas. He will flame you up fast.
Pop. Yeah, like what Mr. G put up the other day. And I remember him saying that when the guy said he had certain problems with his body. He said, you know what you need? You need to eat pum pum. Or you need to eat. He said, of course, he said P-U-S-S-Y. But he said you need to eat it straight up.
People be like, people be like, damn, Red, you know, my children is listening, you know, you might want to cut it down on or Red got a you know, like,
yeah,
I you know, I got that type of, I'm like, look, y'all obviously was not born under the bare feet of Dr. Sebi. Like, what are you talking about? I'm in my Sebi bag. Like, he got a potty mouth. What are you talking about? Like, he was out here flaming people, and he did not bite his tongue.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
That's where I got my bravery and my courage from, and the fact that I'm like, I'm gonna tell it like it is. He did not bite his tongue. He was flaming people. He was the Cat Williams of herbal niggas, bro. He was on Shay couch. Every time he pulled up, he was exposing somebody. Are you dumb? Are you for real? You must not know that man.
Yeah.
So Dr. Sebi he will flame you up. If he didn't know you, that's why I be telling people, like, when he made, you are responsible for bringing him back into the fold.
Yep.
When you brought him to that church in 2009.
Yeah, that's right.
But he would not get on any other platform.
Nope.
He was like, who the fuck is they? You know what I mean? He wasn't on HOK and none of these platforms.
That's right.
He only came through KTL because of the relationship and whatnot.
That's right.
And he wasn't impressed by none of that shit that was going on and whatnot.
Nope.
He wanted his trees. He wanted, you know what I mean? He wanted to do his work.
He wanted to smoke his weed. He wanted to smoke his weed. You know what I mean? I had to get a hotel where they would allow him to smoke weed, and that was the Marriott.
Yeah, that was it was a deal breaker if he had to lay up somewhere. What do you mean I have to go pay for this thing and I can't smoke my weed?
See the flyer there? See the flyer there? The original flyer.
Birthday,
your birthday.
November. That was a birthday present right there,
That's
bro.
Right.
I promise you.
That was
everything changed after that.
Yep.
And that was the first time I met Polite with no deodorant.
Yep. Yeah, I remember.
He said he was nervous.
You remember he shut down everybody else from speaking. He only allowed Polite to speak. He didn't let Professor Jeffrey speak. He didn't. Bambaataa was supposed to come. He didn't show up, but he wasn't going to let none of them other dudes get up there. Polite, because he heard about Polite from before and what they was doing with the Nuwapian thing. Because remember, he had spoken election at a few places, but yeah, he loved Polite back in those days, man. And and Polite was on it when he was on his health and metaphysics tip. Polite was the real deal. When he went to Hollywood, that's a whole. I ain't even gonna get into it, but that's a whole different animal that went to Hollywood. That was it.
You saw Floyd Mayweather in Israel?
No, I didn't see. What happened?
He was out there with the damn baby killers and whatnot. That explains everything in a nutshell.
Oh, wow.
When he left New York and he was in the hands of Floyd Mayweather, right? That's when he completely went to the dark side.
Yep.
Because homie don't got no morality over there in Vegas.
Right.
He don't stand on whatever business that he stand on. That wasn't the right business right there. He corrupted that man even more than he was probably already and whatnot. And of course, the untimely demise of Dr. Sebi added on to that as well, because he started to spiral after that as well.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of that.
Because he would have had to answer to the doc.
Yeah. Y'all was the one that started calling him out. So I remember that. Y'all called him out. I remember we was at BAM. Brooklyn.
We're not gonna get into that right now.
Yeah, I know, but but that was it. We did what we had to do. Y'all did what you had to do. But again, mental health. Now we see a lot of people going down that road and of that. And this year and last year and certain years, we've been in the crossroads of this thing called mental. Because even in my book, New Motivation for Mental Stability, the primary numbers for mental health is 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3. 5 and 3 is at the bottom of the totem pole because y'all are supposed to present yourself from a jovial and happy perspective. But if y'all go down any nervous breakdown, that's when the problems can happen and cause mental health. But what I've noticed in the studying of patterns, cycles, and sequence, that 4, that 7, that 8, that's why this year you could tell there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of things. Because when an 8-year came in, that representing old things coming back to haunt or heal you. So when Cat Williams hit the ground talking about all those things that was haunting him, all that stuff.
He dug them bones up.
Exactly. He needed to release that. He needed to heal from that, and he did it on a show that a guy with Shannon Sharp, who's born June the 26th. He born June the 26th, number 8. He's under that number 8 frequency. So
you just brought up
4,
4, 7, 5, and 3.
Yeah.
And so 8 is in there as well?
Yeah, 4, 7, 4. It's 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3. That's all part of the mental health number that need to maintain their balance when things start coming up to in their heads. Because what happens is not that they're going to be mental unstable. It just means that when you see those numbers showing up in your chart, or showing up on your birthday, or showing up in the years that you're born, or showing up in a pattern of the personal year, personal month, personal cycle, life path, you have to just maintain balance and make sure you inundate your mind with positive stuff to balance things off. Even if your name has a lot of 4s, 7, 8s, 5, and 3s. People born under those 5 and 3s, they go through anxiety a lot of nervous problems and issues if they don't protect themselves. I know that for a fact. I've seen it, and I've paid attention to celebrities and people in my family and friends that's going on. Even with the number 3, that's a lot of controversy that comes with the 3 and 5 if they're using their mouth recklessly. People like Polite has a life path number born under number 3. People like YP, Young Pharaoh, born under that number 3. Umar, born under that number 3. If they don't use their mouth correctly, it will cause problems and attract the reckless and the scandals and all that kind of stuff to them. I see.
There's no more of a glaring example of the 3 going wrong than my guy Nature Boy, who is the 3 god.
Yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
And it was the judge. The judge said it was his mouth.
Yep.
That got him the life sentence, because theoretically, when you read the guidelines, he has mad rights for an appeal because he's not supposed to have got. I don't know. Whatever,
Yeah.
That's up for, but it was his mouth, she said. It was the way that he was carrying himself and talking. That's why she gave him the maximum penalty. But he literally called himself the 3 god. Right?
See?
What would you say, though, to anybody that falls underneath these numbers that are going through these quote unquote experiences? What would be the best form of balance? Because while I was listening to you say that, I automatically, went right to like classical music as a balance.
Yes.
Or listening to Andre's flute album, or maybe the Little John meditation album. However, so many of us are disconnected from those options and whatnot, or we're, the average brother or sister and whatnot, they just may be inundated with the drill rap or the whatever the radio may be playing, whatever frequencies in the air and whatnot, and they may not know where to go to receive balance to alleviate these quote unquote anxiety attacks or this depression is settling into people and whatnot. So can you just give me a few options for our brothers and sisters to help balance their mental health?
Thank you very much. Yes, I can. And I want to make a disclaimer. I'm not a mental health professional. I am just very proficient at using numbers to motivate you with the numbers. And in my book, I give a lot of brief solutions, but at the end of the day, it's for you to really do the work, the internal work, the meditative work. Even if you feel you don't have money and all that kind of stuff, there's a park near you. There's a place to go and ground your feet, even if you live in the projects. When I lived in the projects, there was a park right across the street that I could go and settle my mind and go settle my thoughts or go play or do my workout or whatever. So really, we don't have no excuse. Damn it, I used to sit in a closet to meditate if I had to. That's just to go into the dark, because in the shadow side, that's where you find the light. In your shadow side, that's where you find. So sometimes you got to go in the shadows. That's why we go to sleep. When we get sick, we go to bed and we lay down and we close our eyes, because we're healing in the shadow. We're healing in the dark. So really, there's no excuse, because even the criminal that's going through all they go through and do what they do, they still got to go to sleep. Something they do naturally, we all go to sleep sometimes. And I tell people all the time that if you have a certain amount of these numbers, don't be afraid to do any type of therapy. Don't be afraid to, everything is at our hands right now online. We could Google up a therapist, or we can Google up a YouTube channel that's providing some type of frequency healing. I was in the dentist the other day working on these back teeth, and the dentist allowed me to play the healing frequency for dentals. And that would calm me down a little, although the pain, you know, the whatever they gave me didn't stop the pain, but it still calmed me down while the music was playing. I understood what that was. And I want to thank Dr. Shakira Moore, the iridologist, that guided me to those to that frequency. Those frequencies for it, because you can Google up all the frequencies. Go to Billy Carson's channel to get the frequency. So there is no excuse. As long as you got a phone and an apparatus like this, you can Google up what you need and then do your cross reference. I'm not saying trust Google thoroughly, because we're the people that had to go into the libraries and study. The Phil Valentine, they had to go into the library, give our library cards to people to go get this information.
We was boosting out of bookstores all over.
We were taking books and ripping off the. I can show you the books right now, but I ain't gonna put that on the screen. I can show you some
I used
books.
to switch price tags on them bitches, like $3 for a 400-page hardcover. Like, damn.
Hey, people are texting me. Where can they find your new YouTube channel? Somebody asked if your KT is coming back. Where's your YouTube channel?
Oh,
put it up on the screen so people can see it.
I got you.
Yeah, because people are asking me, you know, because they only on
you.
Instagram. But family, it's you're talking to somebody that at that time of his life, at 8 years old, I almost took my life. At 8, why would I be thinking like that? Because at that point of my life, I was cognizant of who was loving me and who cared about me and who was in my corner. So when you have family members that didn't care about somebody that was darker than them and all that, I felt that energy. When I had friends in PS13, PS11, and PS316 in Brooklyn that didn't show me that love and hated me because I was too dark and tell me I got all the black jokes. That hurt my feelings to the point I almost took my life. And then I realized what's so funny about that, Red, what's so funny about that is that when I try to do it, I still have the mark on my wrist here if I'm trying to cut my wrist at 8 years old. It's smaller now. It looks like one of the lines on my wrist, but it's smaller, but I can still see it. That moment, a barrage of sounds in my voices in my head says, "You're going to miss your grandmother. What are you doing?" Boo, boo, boo. All this was happening. And it's like the bathroom got loud in the dark. And I put that blade back into the cabinet and cried. So if I would not have paid attention to that intervention, y'all wouldn't hear about me now. I'll be a picture on my mother's mantle at 8. That's it. Damn. So people don't realize that we got to pay attention to the signs. You remember back in the day, there are lots of roads and a lot of signs and more signs. You got to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind to face reality all the time, like Tenor Saw used to say. That was an old reggae song. And I remember those songs doing this because I thought about it 3 times in my life. And the second time is right with my family. I was about to take my family out and me out. And then the first thing, the sign again, Elijah Muhammad came into my head, or Minister Farrakhan's voice came into my head and said, think 5 times before you do a thing. And I put down the blade and I left the house and walked. I was living in the Bronx at that time, over there off of near Parkside Plaza, over there off of Townsend. I walked and walked it off. I had to walk it off. You got to pay attention to the signs when that mental health tries to take you and knock at you, beat you out, to do what you to do the unthinkable. It's the unthinkable thing, to tell you the truth. I've been there.
I don't think I don't think people even know how close black men, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm not making this a gender thing because
course,
we
of
all
course.
go through our
Yeah.
struggles and mental health.
Of
But
course.
you know, I remember being a youngster, you feel me,
That's right.
and not feeling the love and taking a whole bottle of pills myself. You
See?
feel me?
Yeah.
I remember that. You know what I mean? And this was like I couldn't. It was probably before I was 13.
Exactly.
You know, and you know you have this disposition to the world, and you're not loved and you're not cared, and you know you're just on the edge and whatnot. And I think black or melanated people, both men and women, we go through so much turmoil, so many quote unquote trials and tribulations, and we suffer so much in silence that, you know, I'm just glad that conversations like this are actually allowed to be had in the open now, because even back in the days,
Yeah.
it was still shameful.
Exactly.
Like you were ridiculed. Like, wait, you was doing what? You know. So thank you for sharing that with us. You know what I'm talking about, and thank you for not going through with that.
And with the family. And then the third and last time, let me just say that story because it's going to be in my autobiography, When the Late Bell Rang. But
okay,
the third and last time was in Club Temptations. And I was the manager, the assistant manager of that club, getting ready for the party and cleaning up the club. But I felt after going through a separation with my wife and all that, and going through and you know, playing around, you know, being a womanizer, doing the thing, but I still wasn't happy because I was the MC, had everybody laughing, enjoying. I mean, I still wasn't happy. I've been on every major stage in New York except Barclay. I've been on radio stations, LIB, BLS, all these stations, and still wasn't happy. And I almost took one of those electrical cords, those big orange industrial electrical cords, and was ready to string it up. A lady rushed into the club thing. I never met this lady in my life. And y'all can say guardian angels, whatever. This lady came in. Is Simon Templar here? Where's Simon? Simon here? Yeah. Yo, they're on the radio talking about you, that you're a good brother and you're this and you're that. I want to rent the club from you because Trevor Ford on another radio station, WVIP, was talking about me or how good I was going to Temptation. She pulled her car over to come and run into the club, and I was about to get it done after I was about to shut it down and go do it right near the DJ booth. So I would have went out big. Y'all would have seen me in Caribbean News and all that. And this lady came. She don't even know how it changed my life. You know, she never rented that club ever. She never came back. But she was the catalyst for me not to do that. And you got to pay attention to all the signs. They come in every way. And then when I went to my father and told him, he said, you know, your great grandfather did it. I said, oh, it's in the bloodline.
It's in the blood, right?
Oh, no. And my grandfather took his life because of a relationship with a woman and his wife and all that kind of stuff, and hung himself in America when he got here because he was from Cuba. So he was a Cuban Jamaican. So he was there. And that's why I wrote about him in the book, because I didn't know his birthday, but his name Claude added up to 22, and 2 + 2 = 4. That 4 showed up. And then when I went to my grandmother, who was checked into a mental facility, she was born on the 7th of July. That 7/7 showed up. Again, those numbers started popping up on me. I was like, damn. And then my mother was checked into a mental facility because she had a nervous breakdown. She's born April 21st. So that
happened to my grandmother. Who was from the Caribbean.
Caribbeans, yeah.
Feel me? Who got attacked at her warehouse job by a jealous woman and whatnot. And you know, she had a head injury and they misdiagnosed her. And yeah, that was a, you know, people, they don't do it as much these days where they commit our people, but they were committing our people to these institutions the same way that they commit young black boys to the penal system these days.
Right. Exactly.
That was their way of disrupting our mental health by doping us up and putting us in these mental institutions and whatnot. Exactly. And then taking the children from our parents or our grandparents and whatnot. So yeah, man, a real rocky road. While we reminiscing, I want to go to my page and show something. Want to have this? Yeah, this is an interesting topic that we're having and whatnot. And who better to share this with but you? Let's check this out.
Came here to New York, and then she went to Brooklyn College, right? Her family was given housing priority over African American families. And she wrote about that in her book to share to people that, like, during that time, America was intentionally bringing Caribbean families here and giving them more generational wealth and taking that away from African Americans that were already here, like the ones who migrated from the South. She wrote about it in her book, and many of the Caribbean Americans did.
So I went to college too, and I have this Trinidadian professor. She told me this, and I can't find the statistic, the data. I can't find it. But what she said was like, back in like the 60s, 70s, they wanted a more docile N-word. Like they wanted a more docile Black person, and they felt like the Caribbeans were that. And the Black Americans, they were on the Black Panther time and civil rights, they was doing too much.
Yeah.
So they brought over the more docile, well-behaved, hardworking Black people from the Caribbean, and they gave them opportunities to land and housing, and especially in New York. So that's why you see that a lot of Caribbeans own houses here, and our homeowners here have stores. Like my grandmother has like 4 properties in Crown Heights. And her husband, he's Guyanese. He had like corner stores and things of that sort. Meanwhile, my side that I grew up on, we've always been renters. We've always been just, workers. We've never owned anything. So it's just really interesting that is the case. And like, I can't find the statistics on it, but I'm happy that you mentioned that, because my Trinidadian professor was like, no, you need to look into this.
Yeah, you have to.
And I'm like, when you look into it, it's kind of like.
Yeah, so I brought that video up because I was highlighting this play that we see taking place with these quote unquote migrant workers, right? And I hear poor people, right? Poor people in America getting caught up in the propaganda that the USA has once again pulled, where they're gonna have poor people who don't got nothing fighting other poor people who don't got nothing.
Exactly.
When both of those groups of people would fare better if they were to focus on the people who done got everything and took everything,
Exactly.
and should be giving some shit back.
Exactly.
Okay. So I lived through, I personally saw it. I saw when they brought the Africans in, after they brought the Caribbean in. I saw when the influx of all of these other nationalities, like the Indians from Bangladesh, the goddamn Koreans and whatnot, these influxes of what we call buffer states, okay, or buffer nations. Whereas, like the sister in the video said, after they killed off the leaders and whatnot in the late 60s, you began to have uprisings, right? And they had to quell those uprisings by giving provisions away, right? So my father, who rocks the afro to this day, he benefited off of the quote unquote kowtowing, or the fact that the government kind of like, I won't even say that they took a knee. They basically just gave our people, handouts, right? So he was able to get a position inside of the quote unquote educational industry or the educational system by way of these programs that they were setting up. And then you saw the explosion of Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, when they took over City College, Leonard Jeffries and whatnot. A lot of that came from what was going on, and the fact that the government was like, let's give these Negroes something to quiet them down, and to basically, let's give them a job, basically.
Right, exactly.
And that's not what our people was really rioting about at the end of the day. We wasn't tearing shit and burning shit down to get a job. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, right.
But then right after they began to do that, they began to bring in this new group of melanated people who were a little bit culturally different than the people who are indigenous to this land, right? It took me going to the UK in 2019 to really peep why certain people from the Caribbean move the way that they move. I didn't understand the allure of the Queen until I went to the UK. I didn't understand how the royal family I won't say affected, but it influences melanated people outside of America. And that's a good thing, because when I came back from the UK and we came back to America, I was like, fam, check this out. Them brothers over there and them sisters over there, they move like royalty.
Yep.
They have somebody that they could look at. We on our Egyptian shit, we like, we was kings, you know what I'm saying? Niggas got the Nefertiti flat tops or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? We was trying. We was trying to summon the spirits of Anpu and all of these other things. But over there, they have a point of reference of people who are literally living and breathing and whatnot. So the drinking the tea with the pinky up and whatnot, you know what I'm talking about? The way that they had custom tailored suits, you know what I mean?
Right.
They was different, even in because we went to a humongous Black History event. It was like thousands of people there, and all of the vendors that I went to, the way that they had their products put together, the packaging, everything was up fucking stairs, brother. It was at a high level, right. I even seen, I was like, oh shit, they're taking ideas from America, and they over there, and they creating their own versions of it, but they're putting an extra sauce to that shit,
of course.
So I saw the appeal of being amongst, even though we know that that's a fake royal family, I still seen how it rubbed off. So when those people came into America, they're a little more proper than our people who migrated out of the South and whatnot. They're a little more, their culture is somewhat different. They talking about the queen. We like, yeah, I fuck with Latifah.
That's right.
They like, Latifah? Who that? We talking about Elizabeth. Like, who the fuck is that? You know, fuck you talking about? Nigga, Queen Latifah, nigga.
You're funny, dude.
It's like, we knew Princess Diana. We just didn't know what kind of fucking where. I was confused for a long time. I'm like, it's Princess Di. I just thought that was her name. I didn't know that she was attached to some type of royalty. So, culture clash. I saw the culture clash take place. The Jamaicans, they held it down. The Haitians wasn't that lucky. Okay, Haitians went through a lot in my childhood.
Yes,
to be accepted, to be proven. The Jamaicans had to literally be very violent.
Yes,
and very. They had to group up.
Yep.
They had to be mad. They had to be they became the aggressors because they was like, y'all not finna pick on us and make us feel uncomfortable. So they started kicking niggas in the shin. You know what I mean? Now y'all
they treat you like a soccer ball.
They treat your shin like a soccer ball and kick that shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, what soccer is like playing capoeira. So
yeah, I know.
you're developing your leg strength. So a good kicker from a soccer ball or football player, they'll put some damage to that legs. They'll put some damage. They'll take you right off your balance.
In the FBA niggas in America, they had skip leg day. So they would be in the schoolyard trying to square up with the Jamaicans. They just tearing their legs up.
Yeah. And then they'll headbutt you.
Play with the knife a lot. And they would headbutt you with them hard ass heads, them coconut heads, and the Haitians was out there headbutting niggas.
Yeah,
the Jamaicans would kick your shin and then they would stab you up. You know what I'm saying? So they began, and then they brought a culture with them that was assimilated. It was a culture that forced us to assimilate into, versus we were trying to force them to assimilate into our culture, but they came with the dance hall. Right? Remember, the Haitians didn't come with no shit that we couldn't assimilate into. Right. They was going to Roman Catholic Church. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Duvalier and all of that shit. We was like, we couldn't relate to that. But with the Jamaicans, they had reggae, and then they had slackness dance hall.
That was it.
So you already know that was a cultural exchange. We was like, that these niggas is good with us. They got weed, they got Sensimilia, right? They have music that allows you to get a dub. You know what a dub is? That means the shorty will rub up on it and whatnot. They have very sensual music. The women was highly sensual.
Yes.
So we was scoring. You know what I mean? We was, you know,
we're getting it in.
But that's all Caribbean women, and I don't mean to be facetious and whatnot, but you know.
But yeah, but you had a lot of American women that was assimilating into that. My wife, my second wife, she was American, but I found her in a reggae club. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to get that dub.
They wanted to get in.
Yeah.
You like when our parents was growing up, they'd be like, you know, their parents was like, turn that secular music off. And
Yeah.
that was like James Brown.
Yeah.
James Brown, my father told me, was getting niggas some box. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Because women was kind of like, we're not doing anything until we get married. And you know, they was still like, you know what I mean? So
Right.
James Brown, all of that disco, they
Yeah.
called that secular and rock and roll because what that meant was that niggas was smacking bellies. You know what I'm talking about? Off of the music. You know, you don't do that off the gospel.
Nope. We
So
wasn't
the
doing that.
yeah, so our version of secular music was dance hall reggae.
Yes. Yes.
That was our onboarding to our rites of passage as teenagers. And y'all know what that rites of passage is, from boys to men.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
And that wasn't happening over the quote unquote music that we would necessarily because remember when we was dealing with shop, like I want y'all to understand the cultural impact that's listening to this. This nigga right here, he was doing music like that too. Yeah, we not letting about the cultural impact. We was listening to hot tracks.
Yep.
And Friday, what was that? What we was listening to like white musicians.
Yeah.
When we was coming up, hip hop wasn't mainstream yet. So we was getting some Whitney Houston, we was getting some Madonna, we was getting some goddamn Boy George, we was getting Cyndi Lauper. A lot of LBGT artists was being thrown at us.
Yep.
Feel me? A lot of funny guy business.
That's right.
We was getting all of that shit. And we was still like, you know, we was vibing with all of it. Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
Prince with his ass out and everything. But a lot of that music wasn't helping men, boys from my age demographics score.
Right.
We trying to get to. We heard about this shit called Punani, nigga. We trying to figure. We listening. So then we go to a hookie party. You know, somebody comes
to the hookie party.
They're like, yo, cut school, my nigga. We like, no, we can't cut school. And then we cut school and we go to something called a hookie party.
I used to
And in
throw
a hookie party, you in somebody's basement or you in a nigga crib with his. If it's a Caribbean nigga, they got the plastic couches, they got the goddamn the casing with all of the fine china in it. We up in the crib standing on the couch, niggas is breaking the china. You feel me?
Yeah.
And we getting heavy dubs by shorties that's throwing it back on us.
Yep. Back in the day, I used to
you
throw
know-
hookie
you know,
parties,
yeah.
yo. I used to throw them.
You know, we were sold after that. Niggas was Jamaican by association. I had an accent in there. I'm like, Bomba Clot, Whitney Ross, Whitney Ross. I was sold. I was wearing Paco jeans after that. I had the tank top with the holes in it. Nigga, I was Jamaican because I was like, this is the culture that I want to be a part of because it was fun and dangerous at the same time.
Same time, yep. At the same time, because
The hookie, all of them got shot up. So you had a limited amount of time to do what you needed to do and get up out of there. Yeah, I see you in the building, Danny. Danny was throwing hookie party. He was right there with us.
I was throwing hookie parties too, boy. I was doing it for Rasmus, for Prospect Heights, for Clara Barton. I was throwing hookie parties back in them days, man. People don't John Dewey. I was throwing hookie party for New Utrecht, Lincoln. I was James Madison. I was throwing hookie parties.
You feel me? They used to have it was like a hookie party, underground railroad system and shit. Like you feel the hookie party Illuminati type shit. You know what I'm saying?
I wrote about it in this book. No promotion is bad promotion. I wrote about it in this book. I mentioned all of that stuff, and even right here, this picture right here. This is El General, the first reggaeton artist. Boom boom 99 que no.
Oh, boom boom 99.
Yeah, that was me and him in that picture back in the day. So yeah, I used to open shows for him and do all that kind of show. Him, Rayvon, all of us was on them live shows, tearing up colleges and all that. BMCC back in the 90s, 80s, 90s. We were doing what we had to do, man, just to get get the
Right.
message out in the reggae world.
And then people will look at it in their modern day eyes and judge it. Like you can't conceptualize. Really, you had to be there because so much has changed.
Yeah.
And there's so many different nuances. Like that was an innocent time.
Yes.
But to be honest with you, we was literally in the middle of a war and we didn't even know it.
Exactly.
We were surviving in war times and we didn't even realize it. Because I used to go to sleep to gunshots every night.
Yep.
And I didn't live, where I lived at wasn't considered, I didn't live on a bad block. I lived in a Trump building. I lived in a building that Trump owned.
Really?
You feel me? On Westminster.
On
Yes,
Westminster.
I lived in a Trump.
okay.
His father, not this
Right, it's his
retard.
father. Right.
His pop.
The
Yeah.
pop, right.
We had a pool in our building, bro.
Wow.
I had a terrace.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And we was going to sleep to gunshots every night because that's when that war was going down. You know what I'm saying? It was a I don't even know what the name of that war was. But it was definitely a war going on outside, and a lot of niggas was getting shot.
Yeah.
This was like 85 all the way up to the 90s and whatnot. You feel me?
Yeah.
I lost a lot of friends. My dude that's on the line right now, Danny, he was on the gram. He got shot in the face
Whoa.
and whatnot.
Man.
Yeah, in Erasmus.
Yeah, Erasmus was that place, yo. We had fights like
Yo,
crazy. They tried to kill me
if
in Erasmus. They tried to
I
kill
was-
me in Erasmus.
They try to kill me near Erasmus. Look, if you got drafted to go to Erasmus when I was in Ditmas, you know when you got your sheet and they tell you what high school you was going to?
Yep.
Nigga, that was like going to death row.
Yep. That's what it was like.
I know dudes that got deported rather than go to Erasmus. They was
Yep.
like, me not go. Me I forgot back to home. Me not go. Send me in barrel. I'm like, damn, fam, you what the fuck?
They rather.
Me not go. We can't go.
Yo, I was left.
That was the Terror Dome.
I was left for dead in Erasmus on the Bedford Avenue side, man. Guys came to you remember you said where you used to wear those gold plates, name plates and all. I used to wear them gold name plates and and they tried to stab me and kill me for that, man.
Look, they robbed LL Cool J up there.
Yeah, man. Yep.
They took that nigga chain.
Yep.
You feel me?
Robbing you up.
Erasmus was no joke, bro. No joke.
That's where I was from. That's my land.
And the Bedford side was the scariest side.
Yeah. Yep. That's where all the wars was fighting. That's where everybody was fighting against each other because there was this and there was that. I had a posse called the Party Posse. We used to call ourselves the P Posse, but I had Americans, Jamaicans, Grenadians, Haitians. I had a whole unified because they was fighting against the Haitian, but the Haitian brother that I protected, our team protected. He was with us with the party because he knew how to dress and look, carry the code. He knew how to dress.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So. I had an African brother that died at a party because him and I used to stop fights at the party. So one night my mother said, I can't go out. I was around 15 years old. She said, I can't go out. Sure enough, my man got stabbed in his neck for stopping a party.
Right, stopping a fight.
So I stopped in a fight. So I would have been right there with him. So you never know what would have happened. So I was angry with my mother. This is what happened. But all of that is crazy, man. All of that was crazy. And all of that contributes to our mental health, going back to the part, going back to what we was going through, everything we are, sum total of all of our experiences. Some of them good, some of them bad, some of them fun, some of them not fun, some of them traumatic. It's all a sum total.
What kind of music? Entertainment. Yeah. Listen, you must not have been around back in those days. Once again, it's these people who be talking out of term. It's like, bro. All I said was when we was coming up, listening to hot tracks, watching the video before MTV.
Yep.
The program directors, right? The way that they were programming, not just the youth, but everyone, because you didn't have 50 channels back then.
Right.
You didn't have satellite back then.
Right.
You had one fucking channel or two.
Yes.
And that's what they were feeding everyone with.
Yes, and that was around the crack era too. Remember, that was around the crack era.
That's the crack era,
yes, right? That's right. That was the crack era, man.
So Prince with a fucking perm and his cheeks out, bro. That wasn't. Yeah, that's not what's up. I don't care what you. That wasn't what's up.
That wasn't what's up.
That wasn't what's up. That's not an image that we needed to be looking
No
at like
fact.
that.
No
I
fact.
love Prince and all of his music and whatnot, but it was heavy. It was a lot of blended. They was trying to moisten up a lot of people back then. That's why they were threatened by hip hop when it came through with the Adidas and the all black leather and men flexing like men, not wearing feathers and tight ass shit like the earlier iteration of hip hop. No offense to how they were dressing, but that was an offshoot of the disco era. When it became more of the street type of influence, that's when a lot of those people were like, damn, it was a disruption.
Yeah.
It was the biggest disruption that the musical culture. That's why a majority of these old heads was fucking haters.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to do the new dances on stage and whatnot. They was haters. They was haters. They was threatened by the quote unquote hyper masculinity of what hip hop represented. Not to say that it was the best thing to come since sliced bread, but it did help balance a lot of black men in particular, and it helped to show them what masculinity looked like.
That's right. That's right.
Because if we were following the programming, we would have been on some Michael Jackson, Prince type shit, and everybody is not built like that.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
They were giving us very effeminate visions of what black masculinity was about, because keep in mind, they just came out of the 70s and the 60s with the Black Panthers, with men rocking afros, standing fucking strong.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And when you listen to Teddy Pendergrass, and when you listen to Isaac Hayes, and when you listen to all of these crooners and whatnot singing about black women and really meaning that shit, okay,
that's right.
That resonated.
That's right.
Then we had these blended artists, and you don't know who they was really talking to. To keep it a buck with you.
That's true.
Come to find out, when you listen to songs, when you revisit some of these songs, they was talking to men.
Yep, like Luther. A lot of people don't.
Freddie Jackson. I met Freddie Jackson. That nigga made me wild uncomfortable. I'm gonna keep it a Jackie Rowe had introduced us to Freddie Jackson. I think that nigga licked his lips or something. I looked at Blue like, what the fuck?
I remember being at a concert at Madison Square Garden. At that time, I was a writer for a newspaper and a magazine. At that time, it was the 20th anniversary of WBLS and LIB, and Luther was the featured singer. You know who was holding his coat? It was a gay man holding his coat and teary-eyed while Luther was singing. And it was like, yo, and that's when I ran into my cousin.
Singing to that nigga.
Yeah. Then I ran into my cousin Grace Jones for the first time in a long time, and I got to go backstage with her. And I told her, and I started, and they started taking pictures. But yo, I was saying this guy was holding on to his coat. I was right there when Luther gave the guy the coat to go on stage, and I was like, look at this dude. This guy wearing tighter clothes than these guys doing today.
You feel me? And
back in the day.
With all of that being said, we had we loved the music.
We love the music. We love the music.
We love the music. There was no judgment whatsoever.
Baby making music.
Keep in mind, Baby making music. We love the music.
Right.
We love the artists. I listened to Boy George, Wham, INXS.
Yep.
We listened to Tevin Campbell.
Yep.
We listened to Color Me Bad. Everything they threw at us, as long as the music was good, we was impervious to it. We was rocking with it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But when another music came along, there was about braggadocio, and that shit was Gundalero, and it was some cocksure music, and in the music they was speaking out against being moist.
Yep. Yeah.
Come on. What the fuck you think the young black men, we had guns on us.
That's what
you understand?
Yeah.
We was shooting guns at 12 and 13, like we was active.
People didn't
understand. We needed a soundtrack. And when we heard that dance hall reggae shit, that was warrior music.
When he came out when Buju came out with Boom Bye Bye, that shut down everybody. Everybody got shut down. Anybody that was trying to practice that. Shabba was talking about women and y'all this, Shabba just going in, and he's going with the bass in his voice. He going, and Shaggy came with oversized, mampi, oversized. We was getting it in, screeching down. Girls in poom poom shots, they
Ninja.
for free. Them are my
Super
boys.
Cat.
Super Cat.
Yeah, but then
no.
but for me,
Yeah.
a Flatbush native,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Of course.
All of that was powered, right,
Yes.
by the sound
The
systems
sound system. That's right.
and the sound clashes. That was our NBA Finals. That was our March Madness. That was our Super Bowl. King Addies versus
Yep.
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro, yep.
Base Odyssey
Yeah.
versus Earth Ruler.
Earth
You know what I'm
Ruler.
talking about?
Yeah.
Big
That's
time, big sound clash. I'm talking about this shit was like
That's right. That's right. Stone Love come in. All of them.
Stone Love coming through,
Yeah.
Spectrum, the juggling
Oh.
of Spectrum and things of that nature. Like these sound sets and sound systems, these little cassette tapes ran our lives for a
Word.
few years in Flatbush, bro. It
Word.
ran that shit, bro.
Word.
So when we seen Shaba and all of them on Video Music Box and Patra and they made it, that was cool and everything, but we was still with the underground, dangerous Gundelera. When they told us Super Cat caught a body,
Yep.
niggas was hype.
Yep. Right there on
So-
Utica and Church. Right there, Utica and Church Avenue. I
Right.
know that spot. I know that spot.
So hyper masculinity with machoism, right? Mixed with a lot of slackness because they was talking about how to get laid,
Yep.
right? And then you had a few of them that was flaunting their wealth and whatnot. That was the winning formula until Biggie and them came with the tunnel era by way of Bad Boy and all of that, and they took it over and they took it where they had to take it. But Biggie being a Jamaican,
Yep.
right?
That's right. His
He
mom.
understood through Heavy D's influence.
Yep.
He understood that it was about, because remember, the dance hall thing established party culture.
Yeah.
These niggas running around partying these days, party this, party that. Oh, bottle service. No, the real party culture comes out of dance hall, because American culture, they was partying, they was doing their thing and whatnot, but you know where the word sausage party comes from? That comes from the American clubs where it was 1,000 niggas in there with hoodies and Timbs on and 3 baddies, and that was it. And they was passing them around. I remember back in the days where you remember like how you interview Whirler Girl.
Yeah.
There wasn't no Whirler Girl clones back in their days.
Nope.
It was only one Whirler Girl.
And still to this day, they never had another female group out of that reggae, the dance hall era. No
Right.
female
But
group.
these days, in this TikTok era, this Instagram era, you'll have a Whirler Girl, and then there's 20 clones of them that pop right up. You'd be like, I thought that was the. Back then, it was rare.
That's
Certain if there was a baddie around the way, she didn't have a lot of competition.
That's right.
I don't know when they started multiplying, but something happened. So they started going 10x and whatnot, and that shit they just blew up. But before that, some of them had to walk so others could run.
Exactly.
It wasn't a lot of them.
That's right. Man, it's been a journey. I tell people that it's been a journey, man. It's been a journey for all of us at whatever age. It's been a journey. So you got to respect. You know, I tell people not all of the elders gave up the fight. They were still doing it, and then we just had people that infiltrated us. A lot of people got infiltrated in the day. You know, especially in the consciousness and all that kind of stuff. You know, because remember, I was doing events even in nightclubs. People forget I did events in nightclubs. You know, And then I had to do an MC that party that night. See, people don't even know I was right there in the fence, you know, doing what I do. You know, I was MCing that party that same night after I brought in Taj Tariq Bey and Abundance and all of y'all coming in and doing y'all thing. I see and everybody and Polite and all of them. And then I had to go and I had to still stay up until like 4 a.m. to go Rockets Club again that night. So a lot of, and I was giving out flyers in these clubs, conscious
As
flyers.
you should.
Get these.
Yeah, I mean, you was balanced.
I had to balance it out. That's what that sister was asking about, that question about being balanced. Yo, I was bringing in consciousness into nightclubs. And remember what what Black Dot said. First time he ever seen ticket locations for consciousness.
Right.
We had I put ticket locations. I had tickets selling in VP records, conscious tickets. selling at VP
Right.
Records in Queens.
So you did help revolutionize the
Man.
promoter game in New York City and by vicariously across the 50 states. I have to put that on record.
Wow.
That you brought a level of promotion to the game where y'all was on the train, you was in the streets,
Everywhere.
you was banging out for real, like
Cars.
with no street team.
Hitting cars up.
You was the street team.
Yeah, I was a street team, and I'll do it by myself. And I would walk at nights, and I'll ride my bike and hit up cars, and ride and hit windows. I was riding fast. One of the bike team came behind me and said, "Yo, dude, white dudes, whoa, dude!" They watching me. And I'm riding. I'm flipping these cars. That's why I made cars. I didn't make paper flyers like all the rest of these guys was doing. I made cards like there was a club and just hit all these. I knew what to do. So, thanks to y'all, people like you and Red and you and Blue and Rich and all of y'all helped me along the way to amalgamate me back into the consciousness, because I had left it alone for a while after I left the Nation of Islam under Dr. Khalid. When Dr. Khalid got ousted, it was like, yo, let me go back to the club and I can't stand this ego-driven communities, man. I just couldn't stand it. You know what I'm saying? And when we did lectures and y'all was there, I had all of the Moors, Christians, Muslims, everybody was coming. And now they warring with each other today, And we know the reason, we know what it is, but I'm not even gonna get into that.
That's the documentary. We'll explore that in the mini series. You know what I'm saying? Because shit like that, you gotta it's steps. It's like you can't just wrap that up in a few hours. That has to be fleshed out. You feel me? Because there are moving parts that need to be identified.
Yes.
That deal with this proxy war that's taking place. I would call it, it's the war of words.
Right.
Ideas and concepts. People have identity crises. And, you can expect that in any type of movement that is relatively new.
Right.
Where people have to prove themselves. They're not really sure about what they believe.
Right.
So, when they get challenged, they really don't really, you know what I mean? It's right. I've seen it all, bro.
Right. And
I would tell everybody the best thing that you could do is focus on yourself, King.
That's right. Exactly.
Focus on your journey, because know that you're going to change clothes on your journey.
That's right. And
you're going to change clothes. If you're really on that journey, not to take anything away from somebody that may go into the nation and just stay there, or somebody that may go into Islam, into the mosque, and just stay there, right? That's cool. It is what it is. Some people's destiny
belong there.
Belong there.
Yeah, some people.
But if you really on this quest and you're not stuck to anything, and you're like, I'm gonna walk through all schools of knowledge to pick up all of the pieces, 720 degrees.
That's right.
Then how the hell are you gonna stand there and try to stand up for some shit that you might wind up dropping a year from now because you evolved past that teacher?
That's right. And that's what I loved about Dr. Khalid, because he was willing to. He taught us in FOI class about the wardrobe. Because in wardrobe, you got to know how to put on different robes while you're moving through war and infiltrating different communities. So you'll see Khalid at a festival with a booba on, and an African booba drumming with y'all. He'll be right there. And then he'll be in a Black Panther suit like this. And then he'll be in a Nation of Islam bow tie like this. And he'll be in a suit. He'll be in a sweatsuit going to an Erykah Badu concert like this.
Because uniform is uniformity, right?
Exactly.
If a bunch of people jumped off of the fire truck wearing yellow or wearing hoodies and whatnot, you would be like, I don't know if this is a firefighter, right?
Exactly.
Because you're used to a certain type of uniform. And like you said, the wardrobe, it's a war going on outside. So your wardrobe, what you wear, represents the fact I'm wearing my wardrobe.
That's right.
I got my logo on it. KTL, I got my shield and whatnot. I'm ready for war. Right. This is a war of I'm in the world of intellectual warfare.
That's right.
So I'm repping my brand.
That's right.
You feel me? But no man nor woman could pigeonhole me into any type of quote unquote preconceived notion about how I'm supposed to look or what the fuck I'm supposed to wear And we live in this new world that we live in where you could be damn near anybody that you want to be, or you could portray any type of facet of who you are, because many of us are like diamonds. We have multiple facets.
Yes.
So that's one of the good things about the internet. I have, you know, we could definitely give the pros and cons of it. But one of the great things about the internet is that it's an outlet for your multiple personalities to exist within.
Mhm.
Don't let that go over your head.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not restricted to just one channel. You're not restricted to one page.
Right.
You know, the way that these social networks are set up, your ass can open up 20 accounts and be 20 different versions of yourself and don't have to apologize. It's called niches. That's all it's called. In the world of marketing and whatnot, it's called niche. It's a niche.
That's right. Niche marketing.
Yeah, it's niche marketing.
Mhm.
So, you know, I might be in the twin. I'm a twin, right? I'm a twin. So yeah, I'm Red Pill and you, I don't know, Richfield, but I might be in the twin niche somewhere, belonging to a group on Facebook that's only dealing with twins.
Exactly.
And then when I'm over there, it's me and Blue dressing alike and shit, looking like boxing twins. Like, but that's to satisfy a part of us that nobody could relate to if they're not twins.
Exactly.
So while I'm not gonna talk about the powers of the twins or the Abeji around motherfuckers that are not twins, I need to go in my niche where there are other peoples that are like me and they understand what the hell I'm talking about. I might belong to a Facebook group of Flatbush people who used to go to the dance hall.
Yep. Me
And
too.
then somebody be like, ain't that brother Red Pill in there? No, nigga, this is Phil Figure in here.
That's right.
This is I'm tapped into who I was when I was in the motherfucking club back then.
That's right.
Excuse you.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Excuse you. Like, don't come in here trying to. I'm doing what I'm doing. Leave me alone, because you wasn't in the club with me, fam.
Exactly.
So don't come waltzing in here trying to, yo, fam, why you drinking a Guinness and whatnot? And you know. I'm in my bag. I'm in my niche.
Exactly. And big up to you. And when y'all used to work with Jackie Tyson, I've been to a few fashion shows and I remember, you know, a lot of things that y'all used to do and all that. Big up to her and what she ever did. Cause I remember doing a show with her at Webster Hall. We went over there and she came to visit me at the show because I was hosting Beanie Man at that time. And she came through. And I remember she was backstage with us, and we was rolling, and you know, but it was always
love her some Beanie Man.
Yeah, exactly. She loved her.
He loved her. He loved him some Jackie though.
Yeah, he loved Jackie Tyson. Yeah, he used to talk about it, Jackie. And I remember when y'all had Sprague Benz, and you remember when I came on, he said Foxy Brown loved me like cooked food one time because me and Foxy used to live on the same block. That's my girl. Oh man, we had a rich history, man. We had a rich pill history, man. You know.
That's right. That's right. You know what I mean? And we must continue to do what we've been doing and do it at the best at the best frequency, at the best octave.
Yes.
You know, you are out here in the A doing what needs to be done, still putting on events, still introducing a whole new community to these wonderful teachers and whatnot. Because one of the great things about our teachers is that nobody owns them. Okay. Nobody owns them. So they are for the people and whatnot. So for the people to be like, oh man, I used to watch that brother in New York City. Well, nigga, you ain't in New York no more. This person is to be experienced by somebody who never experienced this person before.
Yeah.
So let's allow our people to enjoy our teachers and enjoy what our master teachers have to bring, because if you haven't noticed, these are teachers that you can't duplicate. You can't make another Dr. Africa.
You can't save it.
You can't
make another.
You feel me? You can't make a doctor. You can't make another Sabi. Like these are one-on-ones.
Yeah, I miss them.
So
miss them brothers. I miss those brothers, man. I'm just, you know, I called Phil Valentine, Dr. Phil, just to check on them. I call all these elders just to check on them, make sure they all right. I gotta.
That's right.
Because you never know. You know, too much is going on. You know, and they're getting older and they're getting up there, and it's on us to keep the mantle going. All of us are going to transition. We're not leaving this planet alive, so we all got to keep do what we have to do from whatever, however we do it. So I commend and I love all of y'all for what y'all have been doing, man. Y'all took it to the next level, you and your brother and your brothers, KT and Rich and all of us, man. You know, I can't stay long because I'm still involved with what's going on with the family, brother. But
right. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Really gotta,
I know that you got an event coming up, right?
Yeah, you got the commercial.
And Professor James Small
Let's talk about it.
Yo,
all right, let's play this.
Go ahead, play it.
will be coming to Atlanta, Georgia. The legend Professor James Smalls will be coming to Atlanta, Georgia, April 6th and April 7th with special guests Destiny Pendarvis and Tassili Ma'at. Text me now at 347-496-1022, or you can go to my Linktree at Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. The one, the only Professor James Smalls, as you've seen him on Hidden Colors and all the other documentaries. You want to be there April 6th and April 7th, public and private event with Professor James Smalls.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hey, Destiny, how can they get tickets?
They can get tickets through my Linktree. That's Linktree/King Simon the Numerator, or just text me at 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back of the room. 347-496-1022. Big up to Aton and his wife. They're tuning in also, they telling me. So big up to them. Big up to Aton Edwards and his wife. There it is. Text me.
Big up to Aton.
Yeah.
Oh, you took it back. You ain't playing.
Yeah.
You was not capping. You said you gave out your phone number.
Yeah.
He think he on the radio still. Look at King Simon. He on his David Levy.
That's my business. That's my business line, man. But y'all gotta text me. Don't call me. Text me, and I will text you the details or the links that you need to come out. Red is gonna be there. Blue is gonna be. I'm gonna let them say a few words about what they're doing before Professor Smalls come in. Let the libation of Tassili do her thing, and let Destiny do her thing. But I definitely want Red and Blue to say something, because this elder, he got sick recently, and we here to support this elder 100%. And I just have to bring him in because you never know. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Blair, Dr. Blair was supposed to do my anniversary, and then he transitioned. I did, and people like it. I just seen Frances Cress Welsing, and then she transitioned.
I remember that too.
Yeah, we was all at Gregory Tate's, at
George
Tate.
And he made transition. KT's
father, and he made transition, and then and he allowed me, George Tate. He allowed me, poet laureate of Harlem.
Right.
He allowed me to do a disaster preparedness class there years ago. So I tears are coming to my eyes because these elders, they left something for us to do. And I wouldn't mind forming the Tamaray temple out here too, something like how he did. Because Elder George let us do what we had to do to teach our knowledge, regardless of what.
My last wish, and I would just leave it at this, is that I wish that all of us who claim to be conscious right now, all came in around the same time, so they can have all experience what we experienced when the levels were at a certain heights. Because people have come in when the shit is on the floor and whatnot. The level, the bar is on the floor. So a lot of young people come in and they don't have that type of respect. They don't have that type of love. They don't have that type of drive. They don't have that adoration for their master teachers and people who come before them. They come in this very arrogant and very quote unquote, like with disrespect right out the fucking door. You know what I mean? And they have this air of what somebody owes them. And I'm like, where the fuck does that come from? Like, where, pardon my French, my bad. But I'm like, where does that come from? Like, we were literally at the feet. We was speaking, we would speak when spoken to type stuff.
That's right.
You could look at me and my brother in them old Bobby Hemmett tapes and whatnot and LIU. We wasn't speaking out of term. We wasn't trying to challenge anybody. We wasn't speaking out the side of our necks. We were being students. And that's not what you see these days. And I don't blame it on anybody. It's a sign of the time. It has a lot to do with the breakdown that took place in Harlem. You feel me? And the breakdown and when this thing went digital and there was nobody to basically orientate the new students in.
Right.
But I wish that we all experience what I experienced, because the love that I have, and just being, I went to Harlem in 2005 and got to see Dr. Ben at the O'Berry Dempsey Center,
Exactly.
and I canceled my flight back to Miami and stayed in New York
Exactly.
forever after that.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was that experience that made that happen.
Yeah.
So I really hope that our students that are out here, these young brothers and sisters who had the opportunity to wake up, you know, they have some type of role models and some people who could influence them to be better.
Yeah. And just want them to remember that, family, that our elders didn't drop the ball. Some of us just got infiltrated by others, man, got paid off to do what they did in a lot of these organizations. I'm telling y'all right now, because there's still us, these soldiers that wouldn't drop the ball, and we're still doing our work. The red and the blue, they still doing their work. Brother Rich still doing their work. I said still, AA still doing their work. You know, the Abundance Child in our own way is still doing the work. All of these sisters and brothers out there doing the work. So they didn't drop the ball, because y'all are standing on the shoulders. It's just that we just got to be very careful of the infiltrators and the ones that's willing to get paid off to dismantle things. And that's usually what is that's why Baba Kaba always said, it ain't over until we win. It ain't over. It ain't over. I ain't finished. I'm still here.
If the people cared about the elders, they would all be right. The people don't care, bro. The people don't care, and they play favorites, and they treat this shit like it's some type of a horse race or something. The people don't give a fuck, and they drop the ball. Don't blame your teacher. How dare you try to blame your professor? Nobody gives us no type of thanks for saving them from pulling them out of the grave and whatnot and out the gutter. I literally gave money to my master teachers.
Yes,
I literally did events where I gave them every single coin that was made, just out of a show of respect, because I knew that they pulled me out of the gutter. You don't get that with these new generations and whatnot of brothers and sisters. How could you pay somebody who saved your life? I would ask anybody in the audience, what is the payment? How could you pay somebody other than telling them thanks and patting them on their fucking back? How could you pay somebody who gave you a second shot at life? Because that's what the red pill is. That's what consciousness is. It is, you got refurbished. You got a second shot at life. This is a new life that you live in.
Right.
The audacity and the caucasity, that's the white man in a lot of people's
caucasity. I like that.
You know, mental health is at an all-time high.
That's right.
Mental health is at an all-time high.
Yep.
Yeah, then they disgrace the word Hotep.
You know
what I mean?
That was crazy.
There's a lot of crazy shit going on. But nobody better never talk to me about none of that, because I'll get super ignorant. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. You feel me? And nobody told anybody when they signed up that this was an amusement park. This is a journey.
That's right.
This is not supposed to be fun and games.
That's right.
You're supposed to bump your head along the way.
That's right.
We all bumped our heads.
That's right.
So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Thank you very much. And family, you know, get all my books through my link tree also. Numerovation for Mental Stability. Very good book. And like I said, I always got to put a disclaimer. I do not stop you from going to any licensed recommended mental health. Go there. That's all a part of the armor you have to build up to help yourselves. Because I did it myself. I even went to a hypnotherapist, which is Aton's wife, Kendall. She's a hypnotherapist for 26 years. She helped me out just because I needed to get subconsciously into my mind to do certain things, and she's helped me out. And you know, I got 4 books, and I got a 5th book coming out. I'm writing 5 more books. So it's all about putting out that and building that legacy for you. I got 9 children and 9 adults now, and 14 grandchildren now. So I can't be playing with leaving this legacy. I can't play with leaving this legacy. I can't play with it. That's all my books here. You know, I can't play with none of them. I can't play with this. I got to keep on doing what I got to do until this breath leave the body, and you should do it. That's why I tell all of y'all, I tell every one of y'all, don't leave this planet until you share your unique gift. Don't leave it
Yes.
planning. Leave that legacy. Study what Red and Blue and them are doing as far as all of the online stuff that they're doing to try to follow all of us. Numeration is just here to guide you and make sure you activate your numbers. Whether you use it or not, that's up to you. But I'm just here to help you. I've taken what Lloyd has given me and I flipped it to create my own. Now it's in the Lexicon Dictionary. Now it's in Urban Dictionary. I'm not playing with this. This is real. This is real life for me, man. It's not. I'm not out there to work for nobody else. I've done all the work. I'm working for y'all to help give y'all guidance and believe me, the celebrities that I do sessions for, I won't even mention names. They told me I charge too less. I'm like, yo, I want people to get to it. I'm cool. I'm going to get my reciprocal energy because it's all about the reciprocal energy. It's all about reciprocal. So that's how it works, man. Text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022 if you want to book a session or if you want to come to the event with Baba Smalls for 2 days. He's doing a private one. He's doing a public one on the 6th at YG Cafe at 640 Evans Street. And then we're doing a private one at a private location around the Stone Mountain area. So you got to be able to, you know, when you pay for that, then I'll send you the links to that. So, but
and that's the phone number right there to text you about.
Yeah, that's the phone number to text me about everything, booking a session, a numerovation session, or getting details to Professor James Smalls and any of my events, anything that I'm doing. You could always get it through that number. That's my business line right there. But it comes straight to my pocket. It comes straight to me, my hip. So you know, I love you, Red Man, for all that you do. I love your family for what y'all have done and helped us to be who we are, your mom, your dad, everybody that has been there doing what they had to do. Of course, the late, great Dr. Sabi and Ma'a. I'll be with Ma'a. Ma'a is actually coming to Nicholas, Brooklyn on the 13th of April. She haven't been out to speak in a long time. She haven't really spoken since she was on those television shows, but she's coming out because I'm coming into town. She says she wants to be there with me on the 13th. And then on the 14th is me and Lloyd and Dr. Shakira Moore and Adara Moselle. But it's going to be on the 13th. Yeah, at Nicholas, Brooklyn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ma'a.
Yes.
Sasa,
Uncle Rise's son too. Uncle Rise's son is going to be there. And
son,
Mama Ella too. Mama Ella going to be there.
Mama Ella, the legend.
Gonna be fire up in there. Nicholas, Brooklyn, Sister on the 13th and the 14th. Sister Cafunia.
Okay. Y'all stepping in Brooklyn, huh?
Oh yeah, y'all did it, so we coming. You know, y'all did it, so we coming.
Big stepper. Big stepper.
Yo,
that's
vending
what
is
I'm
available.
about.
And let everybody know vending is available for Professor James Smalls on April 6th. So y'all come on, give me a call if y'all want to vend. No food vendors. We're gonna let YG Cafe does that. Let them do that. And I think Blue Pill is gonna be there with his stuff too. So we'll see what happens. But I know they negotiated something like that. So come on out. Yeah. So I love y'all, man. Love you. Thank you very much. I got to deal with this.
Atlanta, stuff, you heard it. You heard it from King Simon himself. April the 6th, we got Professor James Smalls, the legend. He's on Black Magic right now. When we wrap this up, go over there and check out the message that he's delivering, a very powerful one, dealing with independence and music and whatnot, based off of a conversation that he had with Tupac a few days before he made his transition.
That's right.
So this is a legend right here. He walked with Malcolm X and he's seen many things. He's one of the creators behind the series that you've seen, Godfather of Harlem. He's one of their advisors and whatnot.
That's right.
And you know, when we see our legends pull up, we gotta go and respect that, and we gotta protect them, and we gotta go and see them and make them see us.
That's right.
You feel me?
That's right.
Like I said before, I won't feel content until I meet at least 60% of the people that I touched.
That's right.
Because the reciprocation is not complete. They know me, but I don't know them.
That's right. That's true. That's true. And that's
I pulled up, but they ain't pull up to see me. But I'm pulling up every Monday and Tuesday and all of that. I'm here. Where you at?
That's right.
You feel me?
So that's why Brother Rich's event was so important. That's recently.
Right. So people don't realize how important it is, because networking is how we quote unquote thrive. Right.
Yeah.
So we have something to offer, but you got something to offer us. Okay. There may be somebody out there that does energy work. There may be somebody out there that does whatever you do. You may be a tailor. I might need tailoring.
Right.
I don't know, but every nigga is a star. And always see yourself as worthy, right? Do not look at people through your TV screen or your phones and look at them like they higher than you. You got something to offer as valuable as the person that you're looking at that's offering something to you.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm talking about?
That's right.
So you should make it your business to link up with that person face to face, not through these devices.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
This is the matrix.
That's right.
So let me play this commercial and then I'm gonna play some music and we out of here.
All right. Take
Peace
care.
and
bro.
love.
Peace
All
and
right.
love, bro.
Yes, yes,
Peace and love.
yes.
Thank you.
James Smalls will be coming to Atlanta, Georgia, April 6th and April 7th with special guests Destiny Pendarvis and Tassili Ma'at. Text me now at 347-496-1022, or you can go to my Linktree at Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. The one, the only Professor James Smalls, as you've seen him on Hidden Colors and all the other documentaries. You want to be there April 6th and April 7th. The legend Professor James Smalls will be coming to Atlanta, Georgia, April 6th and April 7th with special guests Destiny Pendarvis and Tassili Ma'at. Text me now at 347-496-1022, or you can go to my Linktree at Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. The one, the only Professor James Smalls, as you've seen him on Hidden Colors and all the other documentaries. You want to be there April 6th and April 7th, public and private event with Professor James Smalls.
King Simon. King Simon, I love him. He's family, and he has one of the top shows on the Forbidden Knowledge TV network, actually.
Right.
So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, this show is called, it was really based on numerovation. It's a numerology show, and it's called How to Calculate Your Destiny.
Yes.
By King Simon. He's the host of the show. The show has done so well, we're now getting ready to start working on filming season 2. All right, so King Simon, one of the top shows on Forbidden Knowledge TV, streaming TV platform.
Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numerator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Go now.